This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
He was a Giant, and he was a Cowboy. Now these two former rivals have joined forces to bring you the most insightful, perceptive, and controversial sports talk podcast in America. Former Dallas Cowboys defensive end Jim Jeffcoat locks horns with former New York Giants wide receiver Byron Williams. And now, here's Byron Williams and Jim Jeffcoat.
Good evening, Byron.
What's up, Jim? How you doing, sir?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
Man, it's great, man. Great week. Sports is all over the place, man. It's a good feeling about everything. From the NFL to the NCAA to Major League Baseball.
The Final Four is in Dallas.
That's right.
Yeah.
For the women.
Yeah. Final Four.
The Final Four for the men's is in Houston. Let's go, Big Blue.
Let's go, Big Blue.
That's why I'm wearing blue.
He's talking about University of Connecticut, not the Giants.
Yeah, sometimes you get twisted,
Yeah, you are twisted. So that is true. That is true. So there's a lot of things going on. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson first. Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Clapped back on questions about his durability because an owner just basically came out and said that was the question, was his durability. He has struggled the last 2 years with durability, but I would take my chances with him because
he was like I said last week, only two players in the history of football, and they got MVP. And that was Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. Those two guys, their talent speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So he brings a lot to that team.
He does. He does. And we're going to find out because I don't know if he's going to play under the franchise tag. And he did make good points about it, basically saying that he had a PCL. And if he wasn't 100%, how was he helping his team by going out there not fully healthy, which I agree with. I know some people out there don't agree with that, but I understand what he's saying because if he can't do the things Lamar Jackson does, he's a detriment to his team.
Well, it's hard to find a good, solid quarterback, consistent quarterback, and he's been consistent ever since he's been in the league. And if you try to trade him or try something different, then I think you're gonna hurt your chances of being consistently winning games, and I think you don't want that. I wouldn't want to chance that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And I mean, the guy has done everything to be successable.
Yeah.
Something I was on the water yesterday, and hopefully you can see it. You see that nice bass I caught? Caught a couple.
Who's that holding it? I can't see.
You know who's holding it. You know who's holding it. Just want to let you know. Caught another one, just so you know.
Okay, so now you're showing a picture, and nobody else is on the. Well, who was on the boat with you?
My buddy. We went fishing. And it's Bill Wilcox. He's a professional. He's a pro.
Well,
so we went out there.
That's why I'm saying, you sure he didn't catch it and put it in your hand? Say, "Oh, Jim, let me take a picture of you holding up my fish."
No, you get jealous because you see the size of that. That's probably bigger than twice as big as anything you've ever caught.
That's pretty good catch, but how much did it weigh? How much did it weigh?
I had a 6'7" and a 6'12", and I've caught over 10 pounds before. So
okay. That's a pretty good catch right there. I got to give you if you caught it, I give you credit.
I caught it. Trust me.
I need to start seeing video. A picture, a still picture, maybe ain't the proof that I want to really see.
So my nickname is Bill Dance because I'm so good at fishing and stuff. So don't hate, appreciate.
I'm gonna change my name to Catfish Williams.
Yeah, catfish.
I'm gonna be fishing on the bottom of the pond.
Well, I want to get that in there. But
hey, congratulations! If you caught that, congratulations.
I did. I caught a couple of them.
You know what? When we go on a fishing trip, we need to have the boat side by side.
Yeah.
So when we pull them out of the water, then we actually can see and videotape it.
Yeah.
Because Matt ain't gonna believe that. I don't believe that, but we.
Well, you can.
But we gonna accept it.
I can bring my buddy on the show, and he'll tell you.
Okay, buddy.
And I still got that trophy. Actually, I got a golf trophy for you. I'm gonna bring to the tournament. But
nice, you got a nice trophy. You do have a nice trophy.
My trophy for fishing is way bigger than your golf trophy.
I got some nice ones in here. I got some nice golf trophies.
So I got to give that to you Monday.
Okay.
For the golf tournament.
Okay, that'd be good.
But back to NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The owners' meetings are starting, and some interesting stuff is coming out. First of all, there are 2 bids of $6 billion for the Washington Commanders.
Right, saw that.
2 bids. One is the guy who's Canadian.
Yeah, one group out of Canada. Got a lot of money.
And one is a guy named Josh Harris, who owns the 76ers.
Yeah, and I think Magic is with those groups, and Magic Johnson.
He's with the Canadian.
Okay, I know he was with one of those groups.
With them. And but that same guy was going to buy the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
I guess he pulled out of that, and they said he just woke up one day and put $6 billion out for her. I imagine that, but
so do you think the Washington Commanders gonna go for 6 to 8 billion or what? What do you think?
They'll go about $6 billion, but that's still thinking about what he purchased that for.
Right.
He purchased it, I think, for $780 million.
Right.
So he made a heck of a profit off it.
Well, I think too they won't go ahead and let Dan Snyder go ahead and go his separate way.
But the question I asked about all this stuff, how do they know that whoever buys it can run an efficient organization? And I mean, you can pay $6 billion, and you would say they've been successful in other business, but we both know professional sports is a totally different animal.
It is a totally different animal. A good example of that is what happened last year with the Denver Broncos. I mean, they just knew that they had a good position of going to the playoffs. Yeah. But I think too, management, getting the right coaches in there, have the right chemistry, on these teams is another plug as well. Yeah,
and then you saw what happened in Carolina with Tepper and how they were terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, they just started buying quarterback after quarterback, and they didn't have any success doing that.
But I think if the Washington team maybe get the right ownership or whatever, they might can turn that ship around and win games and get the right.
But is it the owner or is it the players?
In Washington case, I think it was a lot of distraction in that case. Yeah. But it's still gonna come down to the coaches, the players, the chemistry, and all that too. You get to more Super Bowl than most people ever can imagine. So you would know that
and there's a lot of things going in it.
Yeah.
But the problem you run into is that the ownership has to be all in. You can't cut corners on it to be successful.
Yeah. And and I tell you another team that's a good example of that is Houston. When you start trading, your players and and the coaches are on different pages than the owners.
Yeah.
It's chaotic.
No question. I agree with you 100%. Houston. And he got that. That was inherited from his father.
Right.
So that is true on that ownership. And you see the struggles that the Las Vegas Raiders are having.
Absolutely.
Mark Davis. And you make a good point. Some of these guys inherit these organizations, but they can't. The perfect example of a guy that inherited and they struggled the last couple of years is Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah,
with the Rooney family.
Right.
I mean, they've done it the right way. The only thing you worry about with Rooney's are spending enough money to get to success.
Yeah.
The head coach said that they believe in Trubisky and he's going to be the guy, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I wonder, are they going to put things around him if they want him to be the guy?
Yeah,
So
and you know, I was gonna say this about Pittsburgh Steelers. They, you know, the head coach is on one finger. I mean, one hand. How many different coaches they had? So they consistently believe in certain type of style of not trying to bring in different coaches. Yeah,
you got obviously Chuck Knowles.
Yeah,
you had Bill Cowher, and now you got Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
so they have some stability.
Yeah,
because the era we're in now is that, you know, coaches like what you talked about, the Texans.
Yeah,
they've had 3 coaches in the last 3 years.
Every year seems like.
How do you get any stability?
Yeah,
I mean, who are you listening to, and who are the players listening to?
Yeah, and I still say you need to at least try to make a commitment to a coach for at least 5 years to kind of see if he can really massage the team in the direction that they need to go.
I agree. Now, there's been some interesting things other than that, going back to football. Calais Campbell, he goes to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, he was at the he's one of the union reps that was in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. And he's been a part of the leadership, and you know, he's just one of those good leaders on and off the football field. He really have done a lot of good things, you know, for the teams that he's on, and also for the players. So yeah.
Yes, he has, and I think he'll help. Obviously, Atlanta made them. This is how you do it. Arthur Blank made him believe that Atlanta is going in the up arrow. So I think that'll help Atlanta having somebody like him there.
And I saw where they said they're gonna make a commitment to DeRidder, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They said that DeRidder. They said that he was gonna be the starting quarterback right now.
Yeah. And then talking about Joe Burrow's his contract, and they're trying to negotiate a contract with him in Cincinnati. And that's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
I think Joe Burrow will be one of the highest paid quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he needs to definitely be in the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Justin Oda in San Diego, when he get ready to negotiate his contract, he's gonna get us a huge contract as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing I ask is, I know Burrows is very good, and I don't have a question, but Lamar Jackson, why is he struggling to get the contract? Do you think because he doesn't have an agent?
Probably because he don't have an agent, and the last couple of years he's been injured didn't complete seasons, and those are the 2 factors.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely don't have an agent and having somebody to say the right thing, but also it's the timing of trying to negotiate your contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Another thing,
I just don't see. I think he done got to the point where he's just frustrated with him now, and he just wants.
Yeah, he asked to be traded.
Yeah.
And did you know the Ravens tried to sign Baker Mayfield?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they tried to sign Baker Mayfield, and obviously he went to Tampa Bay, but
yeah,
they tried to sign him. The Ravens tried to sign him, and he didn't want to go there. This is going to be interesting. This is a unique case, and I agree with what you're saying about the injuries, but like you said, the kid is phenomenal when he's healthy, and when his head is on straight, he's scary. I mean,
but look at the wide receivers he had. He don't really have a good group of wide receivers either. So there's some things that they hadn't put around him to make him even better. That's why he probably injured a little bit, because he run the ball a lot more than anybody else almost.
Yeah. Now, who would you take, Michael Vick or obviously Lamar Jackson?
Man, that would be. And I talked to Michael Vick at the Super Bowl too. I saw him. I said, "What you doing now, Mike?" He said, "Byron, you know, I'm working for Fox." But anyway, man, I like Michael Vick though. I definitely do. Michael Vick is a better thrower, but you know, he's just left-handed.
Yeah,
but both of them are good. They both good, great quarterbacks. I think you can win with both.
Interesting. That's interesting that you say that, because this guy's been an MVP in the NFL. I don't think Vick was ever an MVP.
He wasn't. He wasn't an MVP. Yeah.
So I thought that's interesting. And another thing going on while they've been talking about the owners meeting is now teams can have 2 Thursday night games. Now it's not going to affect the Cowboys, and the reason it isn't, they'll get one other Thursday night game, but they play on Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah.
But other teams, say if you're the Giants, they could have a short week twice in the year, which is a little difficult.
It will really be difficult.
Yeah, but that's what they agreed on that. They don't want to flex it, though. They're saying they're not going to flex it. They declined to do that. So they're going to put it in their schedules. So you're going to be interesting.
That is interesting. And then I just think, too, at the end of the day, it's about recovery time.
Exactly.
Players getting rest, players being able to get ready for the next game. And you don't have you don't have your routine 5 to 6 game in between those. That's
my point is that recovery, they always talking about the health of the players. This is not helping the players stay healthy.
Nah. And another thing, too, that I saw for the first time this year is when players get injured, it seems like they're taking just a little bit longer time to return back to the football field.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on, interesting things that are going on. There's an article today about the NFL is glossing over differences between grass and artificial surfaces for now, but you've been in that arena because you put in artificial surfaces. Honestly, for me, I'd rather play on grass. There were some bad. San Francisco, for example, wasn't a very good grass field because of obviously it was on the San Francisco Bay and it was below sea level.
Right.
So you saw that, but for the majority, you always want to play unless. If you remember playing in Oakland, you were playing on a baseball field.
Those converted fields. Yeah. And
San Diego too.
San Diego, the Padre and the Chargers playing on the same type of field.
Yes.
But one of the best fields is the Green Bay Packer field.
Yes.
They have this underneath heated solution. And even when in the wintertime, the field is just more playable. And but the Green Bay Packers had a system that like no other.
Yeah, it was interesting because with all the issues in the Super Bowl this year, when the Cardinals played at Arizona State, Sun Devil Stadium, the stadium was in excellent condition. Right. And they never rolled it in, like you said, and rolled it back out. They just maybe because it was a outdoor stadium as opposed to a dome stadium.
Right. Yeah, and then grass you got to have that air come in and filter the surface in the soil, and so you need that moisture to come in and help mature the footing of the base. Mm-hmm. And and this year the NFLPA identified about 12 fields that was unsafe. And we talked about it a little earlier with Matt. MetLife Stadium doesn't replace their field. They have to replace that field. So, but they do that interchangeable there at that field too because of the Giants and the Jets, and you have to interchange those end zones and some of the logos. Yeah.
And then plus you have, for example, in Dallas this week in the AT&T Stadium, they got the Taylor Swift concert. That thing is going to be packed.
It's going to be packed. It's definitely going to be packed.
It's really not like a football game because everybody's on the field. They'll have people sitting up close to the stage. Obviously, they'll have people in the stands, but they'll have everybody on the stage too. So that's
it's going to be crazy wild here in Arlington.
Yeah. You got a Renegades game. You got that. You got the Rangers opening up the season. So you got quite a bit of things going over there at Arlington.
Man, I am. Yeah, it is. It's going to be crazy wild over here, and a good weekend. I'm glad that we getting back to some normalcy as well. Because after coming from the pandemics, now you can get back to people just enjoying life again.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of crazy. I was thinking about that today, how the adjustments have been made from the pandemic to now that people are going to games and they're like you said, they're doing things outside and in different arenas that they hadn't done for 2 years.
We having our first meeting this Friday night. We meet at 5:30, and then after we meet, we're gonna stay right there at the stadium and watch the XFL game, the Arlington Renegade.
They have a lot of people there, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be some fun, and plus guys can bring their
No,
wives.
I'm saying I don't think there'll be a lot of the crowd because of all the things that
all other things that's happening. Yeah, and then the two, you got the Rangers playing Thursday tomorrow night. Then they come back Saturday. They got one day off. Right. They come back Saturday. I think they play the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on. This is an interesting part. We haven't talked about it. The NCAA women's finals are in Dallas. The NCAA men's basketball finals are in Houston. So we'll talk about the NCAA women's finals first.
Okay, great.
Player of the year was Caitlin Clark from Iowa.
Yeah, she scored 40-some points the other night.
Yeah, 41 points.
She the first woman to have triple-double.
Yeah, and she had over, listen to this, she's had over 900 assists, and obviously we know she's had over 1,000 points. I mean, this lady's, she's special, but she's going against the bear in the room, and that is South Carolina.
Me and Matt don't call it the bear in the room. We call it the giant in the room.
Yeah. The women's South Carolina, it's going to be, I remember I was watching the game against Maryland, and Maryland was beating them. And the coach made the crucial mistake. The coach from Maryland said, I told you we can beat them. We got them. Well, that lasted about 15 minutes. And then South Carolina said, okay, let's get this. And they took it to Maryland.
They are one of the most focused groups. In order to be 36-0, every game that you played in basketball,
yes,
you can have one slip up and lose one game in basketball.
That's exactly right. Now, it's going to be interesting because they have players that can at least hold Caitlin Clark to 30 points. But the problem they're going to run into, the problem they're going to run in with South Carolina is, first of all, they got a 6'5" girl and they got a 6'7", and they can play.
They can play.
And how do you match up with them? It's going to be a matchup issue.
And that's what's going to happen. It's going to be like 5 against 1 almost, Yeah. And then they got a pretty good bench.
That's what I'm saying. They go deep. Yeah. They go about 11 deep. So that's really difficult to play against them.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting to see how Iowa tries to match up with them, because they got to play a different game, because you can't just sit up there and say you're going to play against obviously South Carolina and play them man-to-man. If you play a zone, they shoot well enough to give you problems. They're going to get you in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Normally in a zone, you don't get that.
So according to the women, they are true to their ranking. First and second seed. First and third seed. They made it to the Final Four or whatever. And they playing true to the way they played all year.
Well, here's the thing. There's 2 number ones left.
Right.
South Carolina, obviously, they're the overall number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Virginia Tech is the other number 1.
Right.
But
LSU is number 3. I think LSU was number 3. And Iowa was number 2.
Yes.
Right.
That is correct. Virginia Tech plays LSU. I can't see LSU beating Virginia Tech.
No, they pretty well oiled machine.
Now that is a team that has enough size to at least make South Carolina. But here's the interesting thing: is that Don Staley played for the University of Virginia. So playing Virginia Tech in the final game would probably make her like, wait a minute, I'm not letting Virginia, I can't go home. She's from Philadelphia, but she played at the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
So of course she'll take that personal.
Oh yeah. She
just think
she ain't gonna get no sleep the night before, probably.
No. But LSU is an interesting team. They got talent, but they just, you saw during the season what South Carolina did to them. They dismantled them. I mean,
yeah, and you know, they played Miami this week, and of course it was a low scoring game, 54-42.
Yes.
But Miami just couldn't get off like they normally do. They usually play some good defense.
Yeah.
But LSU just took it at the end. You know, they beat them by 12 points. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and you're right. And I agree with you on there because I thought Miami might have a chance.
I thought the Miami girls gonna be like the Miami boys, but that didn't happen. It would have been good for the university though. But at the end of the day, it's a success story for both programs, the women and the men's.
Yeah. Now, on the men's side, here's the thing. Miami plays UConn, and we got a UConn fan, out there in the nickel seats.
What you mean nickel seats? I'm trying to find the nickel seats.
It means you're in front of your TV if you're in the nickel seats.
Now you're too hard on the man. Now you shouldn't have said that, Matt. Matt, I'm trying to help him out. He don't understand. He don't understand. But you did. Go ahead.
He did predict that UConn would be in the finals with the possibility of winning everything, winning the finals. He did predict them, but UConn's got to play Miami.
And that's the same man predicted Giants were going to go to the playoffs. So
he did do that too.
Yeah.
He did that. He's predicting the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl this year, so I kind of agree with him. So
he ain't predicted that. They ain't came out his mouth.
He's predicting that.
Because we already talked about McCaffrey. Can he call the plays and be the head coach? No.
McCartney, he's going to have to. It's been done.
It ain't been done by him though. That's the problem.
But I think UConn's got a good chance.
Oh yeah.
And
Hurley, he can coach.
Yeah, Hurley could do it. But that's all he's known. His father was a big-time coach in New Jersey at St. Joe's, and he's had some tremendous players. And his brother's head coach at Arizona State.
Yeah. I think it comes down to your pedigree then, the coaching pedigree.
Yeah, and he does have a pedigree. So that's true.
That's good.
Other one is they play at a fanatic pace is San Diego State and FAU.
San Diego State, yeah. They play that type of basketball that I grew up on. Run and gun, play tough defense, and they be trying to hawk you all the time. They challenge your shots too.
Yeah. But here's the thing: FAU's got a 7'1" center, and he's athletic. He's from Russia. I forgot his name, but he played well. And then FAU's playing really well. That coach has done a tremendous job.
Yeah,
they're playing.
He have done a great job, and they surprised a lot of people. A lot of people.
They have. They really have.
I say this is true March Madness. When it comes down to watching the men's play, it is true March Madness.
Yeah, and then here's the interesting thing. This is the first time since the Final Four has been in existence that there are no top 3 seeds left because Miami's number 5, UConn's number 4, San Diego State is number 5, and FAU is number 9.
Exactly.
So
that's really good because now every year when you fill out your bracket, it's gonna make you think and gonna make you want to say, man, I hope I'm filling this out right because
really, I agree.
They gonna always say, you remember when it was 2023, and this is what happened. They're gonna be reminding us that, hey, you better be sure you fill out that bracket.
Yeah. And you got to look at those teams and that you haven't really thought about or saw.
Yeah,
because a lot of guys obviously seen UConn, but you don't see a lot of other teams.
Yeah, but you did nobody know nothing about them.
Yeah,
even Miami was a surprise.
But here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. Everybody talks about the Big 12. They talked about the Big 10. They're talking about ACC. But you know who's the most successful conference in basketball right now?
Right now?
Yeah, Conference USA this year.
Yeah, with Houston and those teams?
Huh?
Houston, that group, or the University of Houston?
No. Houston was a Conference USA team.
Yep. But
the thing is, and they had even in NIT, they're winning. And these teams are winning out of Conference USA.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because they don't lose players to the NFL one and dones. They have a chance to develop players.
Yeah.
And that's making a significant difference in college football, college basketball.
So they have a pretty deep bench. And
and they keep those players and they can develop players.
Yeah.
And that's why they're not running off there.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And people don't think about that.
I'm watching the McDonald's All-American game, and I was watching them, and you think about how many of those players in that game are probably just doing it just because they have to go to college or they have to go to the G League before they can go to the NBA.
And I really think they shouldn't even let them play in the NBA until they get at least 20. And I know every now and then you have a LeBron, you understand that you have a Kobe, but man, it ain't too many of those guys ever.
And I would agree with that, but why would you not let a person try to make a living? I agree with you on what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand that.
I understand why you're saying that, but I think you got to give the person the opportunity to make a living.
Yeah, if you want to put it that way, yeah. But man, I tell you, like the guy who was first picked last year in the NBA, he made the All-Star game, and nobody hardly ever heard of him. I can't even call his name right now, but he was saying that a lot of people didn't think that he was worthy to be in the All-Star game this year when the NBA All-Star game, and I said, wow, I never heard of him. But he was like the first guy that was drafted.
Wow. That is, and I understand what you're saying, but I think they should. And it was when they started this, they usually got centers, the Moses Malones, the Darryl Dawkins, like that. They came in because they were bigger and more powerful.
More mature. They had the physical attributes.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't see that. I agree. LeBron was a man among boys. And like you said, he had the physical attributes, but you don't see a lot of guys like that. Kevin Garnett was a man. Yeah. I mean, he was 6'11" with those skills.
Yeah. So, Sean Kemp one of those guys?
Who do you think Rain Man was he?
I don't know. I don't know if he was in.
Didn't he go? Oh, I think you know what happened?
What?
He got trouble at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then he went to the NBA. And
that's what happened.
Rain Man did. Yeah, and he's in trouble again. So.
How many kids? He got about 20 kids out there. Something I heard.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
But man, the NCAA, man, you just got to love March Madness.
Yeah. Here's something for you on the NCAA. Every obviously in college football you have spring ball, and then most of the time during spring ball there's a break, and players go home. Well, Deion Sanders told them that he's gonna clean their locker out if they're not in that meeting by Monday, sitting in their places. If they're a minute late, he was gonna clean their lockers out.
Well, Deion Sanders, he tried to prove a point, and he just trying to help these young men understand. This is a commitment not to but not only to football, but to the university. And he trying to get them to graduate and all that stuff. So he put a lot of stuff in place. Yeah. And sometimes you have to use that for an example to let them know this is what.
But here's the thing. Only thing I get a little afraid of that. What if you say we all know that there's storms coming in from California, and say you're from Mississippi, which he has a lot of kids from the South, and you can't get out of the airport, and that's not anything that you've done. That's something that you can't control, the weather. What is he going to do in that situation?
Well, that's probably the only excuse that he's going to allow.
You think so?
Yeah, he's going to have to allow that because you can't do nothing about that. Mm-hmm. It's just like, we fly all the time, but what I'm saying, when them storms come in, ain't nothing you can do. No. My grandboys that was out there, they went out to skiing out in Colorado. They couldn't even get back they probably been back that Wednesday. They got back Saturday. Mm. And because of the storms and the rescheduling of the flights. And so they had to stay out there extra 3 days.
Yeah. Them two boys is hitting home runs, grand slams and stuff. And
they was out there skiing. My daughter said, "Hey, Dad, Lincoln was in level 1." The guy said, "No, they got to put them in level 3." Hey, they don't know when they get over here. I'm gonna put that rope. I'm putting that rope and I'm put the training wheels on them, and we finna get ready to run. We finna start running. we ain't got no time off.
Oh, he was a better host than you were. I gotta admit.
Yeah, he think you're a better host. Yeah.
I'm looking at the Mavericks are up 56-46. They got to win every last game, and they still might not make the playoffs.
I wonder why they start playing loosey-goosey basketball.
I think it's chemistry. I'm not saying that Kyrie is bad for him, but it just doesn't fit with something's not playing. They're not playing any defense.
They don't play defense. They don't even play defense.
Yeah.
And Jason Kidd was a defensive. He was a defensive player.
I know. But here's the thing is I'm looking at this game, 56. Everybody's telling me that Joel Embiid should be the MVP. But they're in third place. They're behind Milwaukee and they're behind Boston.
I think he was MVP mid-season.
Yeah.
But now I don't know if he MVP for the whole season. I'll put it like that.
My MVP, first of all, is Mike Brown from Sacramento. Because
Sacramento
had it forever.
Yeah, you got to give Mike Brown his prep.
Yeah, and then DeAndre Fox. I would give him a chance to MVP because they're the most talented team, and they're playing at a different level. Anytime you're playing in the same division as Golden State and you're beating Mike Brown, obviously was a coach there, but
he know him inside out, exactly.
Yeah, and he's done a tremendous job in Sacramento.
You know what I love about some of the things that's happening in sports right now? That's why you got to play the game.
Yeah,
because you just can't predict and say this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. No, it's a whole new day.
Yeah. Speaking of that, and Milwaukee Bucks, like I said, how do you go and put a third and the Philadelphia's third in that division? The Denver Nuggets are number 1 in the West with Yoko. Right. I like Yoko. I don't care what anybody says.
You think he's the MVP?
Yes. I think his team is the best team.
Okay.
And Jokic, Memphis Grizzlies are number 2. I don't like Memphis. I think and I'll talk about
Jay Moran.
Not Jay Moran much. It's the other guy, the guy from Canada. He's always talking. Dylan Brooks.
Okay.
And he creates more issues than he has. He has no respect for the game to me.
Yeah.
And then I think Memphis has some excellent players, and the third team is Sacramento. So if you're going to say that Embiid is the MVP, then you might as well say DeAndre Fox is, because they're in third place.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the thing. I think, yeah. So that's
Well,
what
I think too. It's the strength of your schedule, but it's also the timing of how you plan toward the end. Because teams that have momentum going into the playoff round, they tend to be more successful.
Yeah.
And just like the Dallas Mavericks, they was like 4. It was 5.
Yeah, they were number 4.
Yeah, they was in the middle, but now they gonna drop all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, they might not. They have to play in. They're in number 10 or 11, so they would have to go to the play-in.
Like you said, they have to win the rest of the games.
Yeah, to get back up.
Yeah.
Some of the time, a lot of those teams are getting healthy now. Minnesota Timberwolves, New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know. I haven't looked at their schedule, but you're right. That's difficult.
Yeah, but you know the team that's, like you said, the team that's scary is gonna be Sacramento.
Yeah,
they just they play good team basketball.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. 100%. Dallas is beating Philly 58-46 now, but
that don't mean nothing. They playing in Philly. You know, Dallas be up by 20 points, and sometimes their team that came back.
Like I said, like you said, with Jason Kidd, I'm kind of shocked. They don't play very good defense.
Yeah. So. And he seemed to me he would emphasize playing more aggressive defense.
Yeah. And teams that usually win the NBA championship, quiet as it kept, they usually are pretty good defensively.
They are.
We see all the scoring, but they usually play good defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this is what I want to talk to you about. I was watching an XFL game, and it was the Washington, D.C. Defenders against the not Houston Gamblers. Something. They're not
the Houston Vipers or something.
Something like that. But here's the thing. The Houston team, and this was crazy. I was watching the game. Mm-hmm. So it was close. And the way the XFL works is that the teams can go for 3, 2, or 1 point.
Yep.
And they can, so you're never out of the game.
Right.
So that's it. And the Houston team was DC Defenders are undefeated. They were driving the DC Defenders. So the player from Houston, the defensive lineman, hit the offensive lineman in the lower parts of his body. So they give him a flag and kick him out. So that puts DC closer. The next thing they did, the next play, the DB hits the receiver. Just took a shot at him.
What?
They gave him a flag. Then the next play, another one to get pass interference. So they put on 3 plays, they started at the 25 line. Now they're right at the goal line.
No, I ain't never heard of that before in football.
The head coach is Wade Phillips.
Yeah.
That was the most undisciplined defense I've ever seen. I mean, that was just crazy. That was crazy.
Well, and Andre Gerard is the offensive lineman coach over there with the Houston team. And would you allow your players to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, that goes to your coaching staff there.
Yeah, and I thought that was really bad on it because nobody ever went to the players and asked them, why would you do that? They just kind of are coaching, but sometimes you got to take that player out of the game.
And I'm thinking, too, that sometimes you can't never let it get to the point to where the players is making these stupid decisions on the football field.
And I agree.
You got to go back to why everything was set up for. It's a structured football to where there is a protocol, and this I would have got rid of the players.
Yeah, but the problem with the XFL, you don't have anybody to replace them with.
Yeah, I guess so, guys.
But I agree with you 100%. And I'm looking at the standings now.
Maybe that's why they do it. Maybe that's why their players are playing the way they play, because they know they can't get rid of them.
That's true, because you remember a couple of weeks ago in Orlando, who hasn't won a game, they said the backup quarterback was giving the signals to the other team, other teams.
What?
And they got rid of them, but they brought them back.
That's crazy. I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, and that's the Houston Roughnecks.
The Roughnecks. Yeah, the Roughnecks. That's right.
And they're still leading the division, but I wonder about that. But the DC Defenders are playing well, and they're doing things. The
DC Defenders, the Orlando Guardians.
Yeah, and Seattle Sea Dragons and St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah, the Sea Dragon and the Renegades are playing this Friday here in Arlington.
And they're pretty close. The Sea Dragons are 4-2, and the Renegades are 3-3. But it's interesting because now you see some things where other things, baseball's starting to come in. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you got March Madness, and it's really hurting football. Maybe, and I always thought that if you had a league, you wanted to start it early, and the reason to start it early, give these guys enough time to get in the
But look at the schedule. Do you start it right after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I thought
but then baseball starting right now.
And you got March Madness. So
first week break for baseball season. Huh?
Yeah, I agree with you, but the USFL might have had it right. They start in April. After March Madness, you got baseball, yes. But football fans, as you know, are going to watch football. The USFL might have figured this thing out. And they did have a couple of players that made NFL rosters. The punt returner for the Cowboys who went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
And
one of the kids I coached, Chris Odom, he had his knee, but he was on injured reserve all year with the Cleveland Browns.
So I thought the USFL had it wrong, but they made more sense on how they did it, because you're not dealing with March Madness. Yes, you're dealing with baseball.
What about? Do you think there should have been a merger between the XFL and the USFL?
Yeah, I think they should be like the AFL.
It's just too much. People are confused.
They
should have tried to work something out or something, because
what I would do is keep the same teams and have the 4 top teams play each other, and then the one who wins would play the top team from the USFL. And they do the same thing over there, have 4 teams.
So in other words, do like what the NFL did back in the day. They put the National League and the American League, and then they merged the NFL, and they
just play the championship game. That's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or whatever they would call it. You can't call it the Super Bowl, obviously.
And then you get your good contract, good TV deal. Get your good.
I think you get a heck of it, but you make sense.
But what these two leagues are doing, they're trying to come up with these different rules and guidelines, like no kickoff, no fire your kickoff and all that type of stuff. To kick you, like don't run to the ball, get caught or whatever, stuff like that. I just think they have to have some type of rule, but yet, only so much football people want to watch and see.
I agree because you're going to burn and only people, and you're right, the product is going to get stale because you're going to see so much of it. I do like some of the XFL rules on the kickoff and the punt. Mm-hmm. I like those. You can't run down there until the punt returner or kickoff
catch the ball,
stuff like that. So they made some good rules. I like the 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points because you never.
What you gonna do with your kicker? What you gonna do with your kicker though?
You still get the kickers on the field goals if you get to fourth down and you're in field goal.
But what about they kicking?
They're not kicking extra points.
Yeah.
But they're still kicking field goals. So I think the theory is good. Our theory is good. Speaking of that, is the NFL declined to have roughing the quarterback reviewed.
That tuck rule?
Yeah. Well, no. If you hit a quarterback and they call roughing the passer, you can't review it because that's what they were trying to do. Some teams wanted to be able to review that.
Yeah. It's a lot of things that's happening that they're gonna have to get a foothold on. It just don't make sense to make the game weaker.
Yeah.
And controversial.
Yeah. And the tackle that injured Tony Pollard, they didn't disallow that either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that hip, some type of hip
tackle. Yeah.
Hip tackle.
They didn't disallow that.
Okay.
So they kept some rules in. Really didn't change very much as far as rules.
Yeah, they've been showing some rules that need to be addressed, and then like you said earlier, the NFL owners they having their meetings and stuff.
Yeah, and then they kind of got off of it. It was an interesting thing. When we talked about it earlier in the show, was Lamar Jackson, the general manager from the Indianapolis Colts, said they're going to research if that's it. I think the problem with Lamar Jackson is, are you going to give up 2 first-rounders for him? And that's for any quarterback, unless obviously it's Patrick Mahomes. I give up 3. I give him 2, the whole draft for him.
Well, I tell you what, if you get Lamar Jackson on your team can go from here to where you got a chance of going to the Super Bowl or going to the playoffs. You just got to keep him healthy.
Especially with the running game that Indianapolis hurts.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
It's just, and then you talk about the money. Well, you're not paying 2 first-rounders, so the money kind of balances off.
Well, I just think they just putting Lamar Jackson on hold because he wanted to represent himself. But then there's rumors that the Ravens might get Odell Beckham. I
didn't know that, but Larry Tunsil. Did you know that Larry Tunsil represented his own self?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the offensive lineman from the Texans who re-signed with the Texans to the largest contract ever for an offensive lineman.
And he represented his own self.
He represented his own self. So
I just think I hope the Ravens don't create bad blood between the management and Lamar Jackson, because I just think he came and showed good faith in playing and done some things for the team. Unfortunately, he just got injured the last 2 at the end of both seasons, the last couple of years. But I just think he brings so much to the table.
Yeah, I agree.
But he never had a Pro Bowl receiver.
Yeah.
Until the number 14 went up to Arizona Cardinals.
Brown.
Yeah, Money Brown.
Money Brown. Yep.
Yeah. So, but this football is what have you done for me lately? You only good as your last play. Just some things that would never change in football.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So.
Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think there's some bad blood. He asked March 2nd to be traded.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's kind of, so there is some bad blood. But you're not going to, I shouldn't say that you're not going to get 2 number 1s for him. Because you could possibly get 2 number 1s. And Indianapolis has a high number 1.
Yeah, they do.
So then maybe that, and you can go out if you're Baltimore and go get you a quarterback.
Let me ask you a question on the rookies coming out, the quarterbacks is coming out. You know, they rate the 5 quarterbacks. One of the quarterbacks I looked at real close today that I'm impressed with. The more I look at it, the more I saw him in the film room, and his intelligence is a young man named Anthony Richardson.
You really do, huh? That's
you know how tall he is?
I know all his physical attributes.
How tall do you think he is? How tall is he?
6'4".
6'4" and a half.
Yeah.
How much you weigh?
234 pounds, I think it is.
244 pounds.
Yeah.
What's his 40 time?
He's in the low 4.4s.
4.43.
Yeah.
And so,
but here you're just like those guys that get intrigued by the physical ability. Here's the problem with him. He didn't win at Florida. Go look at his record at Florida. He hadn't started a lot of games. He is a physical phenom. But is he? You look at what happened with Tennessee last year. They took a kid, the quarterback, and he won at Liberty. He transferred from Auburn, and you see he struggled. They even put a guy from
Malik.
Tennessee.
You talking about
Malik Willis?
Yeah, Malik.
Yeah. So here's the problem you have with it. Anthony, that kid is going to look good on the hoof, but that's not how you play football. I don't think, honestly, there's only 2 quarterbacks I'd take in the first round: Bryce Young or Stroud. And other than that, I wouldn't take Levin.
I like Anthony Richardson.
I know you like him.
You hear me saying it tonight?
Because, yeah, but
you hear me saying it tonight?
Huh?
He gonna be the most surprising quarterback in this draft.
I don't think so.
Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle because he has the physical attributes, but there's something missing. It's just like with the quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levin. Those 2, Levin's left Penn State, you know that.
Yeah.
And he lost to a less talented quarterback, beat him out. There's got to be reasons why. And Anthony Richardson has all that ability. He should have willed his team to win.
I'm telling you. Watch what I tell you.
Gonna be disappointed.
You're gonna be shocked the way Anthony Richardson played. You're gonna be shocked.
Okay. I just think he's a physical talent. Here's the thing, and this is before you. There was a player that played at Arizona State named Mark Malone. Mark Malone was similar to Anthony Richardson. Mark was a number 1 pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he never became a great quarterback because of the things that he didn't have, the intangibles. Great quarterbacks have intangibles. Bryce Young has the intangibles.
But you know what? 2 years ago, you know who my pick was?
Who?
Quarterback I love? Who? Justin Fields. I'm telling you now, I like Anthony Richardson like I like Justin Fields.
Justin Fields took a team and he did some incredible stuff.
I'm telling you, that was my quarterback 2 years ago.
Yeah. But
I'm telling you, this year is my quarterback going to be Anthony Richardson.
We're going to write this down.
Anthony
Richardson is going to be.
Mark my word.
He's going to be just the guy.
I hope he go to a team that's going to let him play. He might not be ready right now, but he's going to be just like Justin Fields. I'm telling you.
We'll see.
I want you to mark my word. Put a pin in it.
Jackson. You like Lamar Jackson like everybody, but Richardson is not Lamar.
Okay.
He won at Louisville. I like guys, especially at the quarterback. Who would you like?
I can tell you now. Anthony Richardson.
Joe Montana. Or
Anthony Richardson. I'm telling you now, Anthony Richardson can throw the deep ball better than Lamar Jackson right now.
Okay.
I looked and I did my homework.
Okay. Well, we got to go. But you do your homework. We're going to talk about it more next week.
Well, Michael Parsons going to wear number 0.
No, he's not going to wear number 0. He's not going to wear it. But we got to go. Been a great show. I'm glad we got a little bit of an argument, but I'm right as usual. But we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Good night.
Peace.